Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. One of the pitfalls of living in the modern world is that we find ourselves inside of our own creations. So we're at our house and there is wood walls, the roof, we have our phones, we're inside the phone, on the computer, inside the computer. And we're not able to appreciate, number one, how and why we're able to do these things. And secondly, from where did we get these things? I can remember vividly, well, if I go back, my grandmother owned a ranch in Oklahoma. And I thought it was really amazing, but I was a little kid. And we used to go out to that ranch. And so they have horses and chickens and the dog and, it's a big ranch. And so you appreciate how things work. When I went to Egypt, though, that was whenever I kind of really felt the connection. There was a time when the brother said, let's go remember Allah as He should be. And I said, well, okay, great, mashallah. So we got in the back of some guy's little truck, the Isuzu truck thing. They have many of those over there. So we go out and then we went into the cornfield. And we picked corn, and then we, cooked it right there on the little thing that he brought, little cooker. And it tastes very, tasty, like no butter, no nothing, right? It's just like that. And then we went a little bit further, and we picked some oranges off the orange trees. And so you really feel the blessing of where that comes from. If you go to a grocery store, our children in their mind, fruit comes from a grocery store. You see how atheism becomes a thing? We rely on ourselves. Like everything's about us. Like we get stuck in that realm. So in the Quran, in multiple places, Allah Azza wa Jal, He talks about creation to impact upon us this appreciation. So Surah Ibrahim, He talks about سَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الْفُلْكِ سَخَّرَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ سَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرِ وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الْأَنْهَارِ, that He has subjected to your benefit, to your needs, to your interests, the sun, the moon, the night, the day, the rivers, the ability for boats to be made and just to float and go, and the wind will carry them. So as He's giving you this very profoundly beautiful Arabic imagery of how things are operating all around you, at the end He said, وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَظَلُومٌ كَفَّارٌ. So He said, and He has given you everything that you could have asked for. Everything you need at all times is right at your fingertips for the most part. And He has made that easy for you. And if you try to count His favors, when we were in Michigan, that was one of the missions of the small group where I was in. Sheikh Abdullah said, okay, everybody's going to go home tonight and you're going to write down all of the blessings of Allah on you and then bring it back in. Subhanallah. Guys, the more I thought about it, I didn't think about it enough is the problem. That's what He was doing to us. Is that you don't realize how much everything's just facilitated for you. As though you just are entitled to it. Going back to our enemy, Shaitan, he wants us to believe like he believes. I'm entitled. I should have whatever I want because I'm me. Well, who are you? You are just a manifestation of divine mercy. And so that kind of thinking process, he says, Innal insan, truly human beings have been unjust and ungrateful in being blessed and surrounded with blessings. So we have to cultivate that in ourselves, in our families, in our children. When we're going to eat something, we should ask them, where did that come from? So many of us eat rice. It's actually very interesting. I didn't ever know how that rice is like they make it in the water or something. It's some interesting thing, SubhanAllah, it just comes the way they cultivate it and then how they dry it and what they do. SubhanAllah, it's a whole process. And when you talk about this animal, and these animals, and they have different things that we benefit from. The hide, the bones, everything, we benefit from it. And so He's reminding us that so that we will actually appreciate who it is that we are getting these things from. And the next point that I would like to highlight is how he talks about the reality of creation in its vastness. So he talks about the different fruits and vegetables and the mountains and the different animals. And then he says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ غَفُورٌ. And this is one of those times when he used two descriptions, attributes that usually don't come together. And that's because of the ayah. He said that those who have the knowledge can be in reverence, in awe. They can feel a sense of deep respect to Allah. If you know. Many people think this means ulama, because that's the thing with perception. When you hear alim or ulama, you're thinking some sheikh with a beard who has a degree from Azhar. No, nobody understood that back then. Because there was no such thing as Azhar back then. Some people say, what about Abu Hanifa? He did not go to a university, he has no degree from anywhere. You listen to him and you know that's an alim, right? So what it was talking about in the context in which he said it was knowing about creation. It's about knowing about how things are in creation. As we talked about yesterday, the one who studies how creation is, they see this amazing systematic functionality. رَبُّنَا الَّذِي أَعْطَى كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلْقَهُ ثُمَّ هَدَاهُ. He, our Lord, is the one who created everything and gave it its functional reality and then moved it in its systematic purpose. And so it's operating according to His system. And so you become in reverence. It is only those who have knowledge that can truly revere God as though He should be revered. So this attitude that religion is this and science is that, that's not our mindset. If you were thinking that we should be against science or oppose science because we're religious, or religion should tell science what science is, it's not. Science is the study of things that we are tangible. Religion is the knowledge of the heart and the soul and the intentions and the words and the actions and the impacts that those have on your worth when you are judged on the Day of Judgment. It's completely separate. Now there is scientific methodology to understanding that and explaining that, yes. But the study of the natural sciences is about understanding how Allah made things and why they're that way. And so the more you see how those things operate, then the more you should see why you need an operating system. And if you're functioning on free will and you don't have an operating system, you see the problems of the world around you. And so that sense of reverence is what leads someone to submit themselves to Him, knowing I'm nothing, I'm flawed, I'm weak, I have no clue about the best way to live my life without Him, the one who gives the systems, the one who made it in this beautiful way. And so we are thankful and grateful being given that opportunity to live. And then we are indebted, indebted to Him, correct? Deen comes from dain, right? Indebted. Dain in Arabic means debt. Deen is the way you repay your debt, right? And so that is our responsibility. May Allah make this Ramadan a revival, a refreshing in our hearts and our minds and our families and our community, that we may be able to carry this message to those around us, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.